So I'm finishing up dinner here, and Mark decided to say, "Hey, it wouldn't be us if we weren't late," but also Lou that we should start. So I figured we'll do something new here, where I show up eating peanut butter, which means I sound real like Mark. Mark, here, help me out. Maybe even Dave.
Yeah, no,
I
you
got a
sound, you
situation.
sound. Honestly, Josh, if this makes you ramble less, this is a market improvement in
That
the
was
delivery. I
not a
mean,
smart. I
this
don't
is a
know what.
win.
Like you know what? Like if I was like you and just like showed up with a fucking piece of salmon like right before we went live, I would have been fine.
Jim,
But peanut
yeah,
butter and jelly and trying to
Uh,
talk
that
at the
was
same
that was
time.
not that was not the best meal choice. I mean,
No,
there
I
are other
actually
options that would have been less sticky.
I'm actually gonna have to go get a glass of water because I'm struggling over here right now.
How
Actually,
do, now
so
how does the peanut butter and jelly go down with
um,
with the bourbon? Like the bourbon chaser, does that fix it?
look at this right there, Derek. Love the peanut butter
Oh,
mouth. See, look at
Derek is the best.
look at we got a new bit here. Actually, I'll bring in our whiskey expert here, Caleb. Caleb, how does you ever get any whiskey with peanut butter notes in it?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I've had more peanut butter beers than whiskey, I would say, or peanut butter
Yeah.
porters. But I think there's been some peanut butter bourbons out there, so I think you should go ahead with the bourbon chaser.
So I'm gonna test your knowledge here. There is actually one brand of bourbons that is actually known for their peanut notes or peanut butter notes. So I'm gonna give you a second, see if you can think back. It's an actual bourbon, not like that screwball bullshit. Like there's a very distinct brand that's known for those notes. Let me see. Let me test your knowledge.
Uh, I don't know.
You're not a fan of these bourbons, I don't think. What's like
Well,
of,
I
of the
love
big
peanut
of the
butter. So
big
that's surprising.
of the big makers, the big like not makers mark, but like of the big bourbon like families, which is your least favorite?
Um, Probably Woodford
Okay, so what's your second least favorite? Because it's not Woodford.
makers.
Okay, never mind. It's Jim Beam. Jim
Oh,
Beam. Jim Beam is known for having that like a weird like funky and like nutty flavor. So
yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
Nick Feldman is saying Willet, and I can remember Willet having a little bit of that peanut nutty sort of flavor. And I
well,
mean,
speak.
speaking of nutty, well, let's bring in
Motherfucker
Mister
stole my joke too.
Mister.
I'm out of here.
Now you know what
That's
it
what I
feels
was.
like to get something stolen from you, Joshua. I'm just glad
Brian,
he had,
how's it going, buddy?
I'm just glad he had pants on when he stood up. I really thought he was having no pants on.
So, Brian, what's in your glass? Because we saw you back there before the show got started, and
I'm still
you were feverishly mixing. So, what do we got?
I'm still getting down the Four Roses, man. The Four Rose and small batch. I really like the way it mixes in the old fashioned without the orange bitters, just straight old fashioned. Oh, Delmore, there you go.
I'm doing a little Delmar 12. It is Cinco de Mayo, so I've had a couple Corona and a couple margaritas. So I should be highly entertaining this stream.
Got a head start on us. Huh?
I got quite the head start. It was an unexpected head start, but Cinco de Mayo, things happen.
We're talking about
Marking up
Cinco de
the
Mayo.
also Four Roses, Brian. So good pick.
Nice.
This is a small
Very
batch select.
nice.
See, you're doing it straight though. I like the old fashioned flavor of it. I thought it
Yeah,
was
I
good
almost
mixing
always
one.
do it straight, but it isn't a good in old. It is good in an old fashioned. I agree.
So Ed DeRosa of all people on Twitter, he mentioned something about this being mixed for old fashioned is one of the better ones he likes because it's a straight one, and I agree. So thank you, Ed, for that suggestion.
That's
What
the
did I,
best.
what did I make you buy?
No, the Four Roses small batch select for the old fashions.
Small batch select.
No, small batch.
Oh, I was
I
gonna
don't
say
make
you're
that. I
doubling
don't.
you're doubling the price of your bottle there if you're going with a small batch select. So
I don't make that kind of money.
yeah, I actually I have a Knob Creek rye single barrel pick here from lovely people at Mariano's. So good old I've had some nice picks from that grocery store. So figure keep on going here. Ooh, good luck being entertaining, Mark. I don't even know what you guys were talking about, but
I just got roasted. I mean, Jay just absolutely, full on kicked me in the nuts right there. That's brutal. And our boy writer Dave is apparently listening because he did say that while Josh was going to get some water, he'd never looked better. He did not say it in YouTube chat. He said it in one of our private groups, but I appreciate Dave. I appreciate it.
You
Well,
like your luscious man side.
Well, we got a lot to cover here. We got a late pick five. I did hear Mark was on our buddy Chase's podcast today, or it came out today, and you covered the late pick four for Derby Day, and it took you like 50 minutes to cover those four races with just basically two of you. So I have doubts now about getting through these five races. I know Mark, you like to mention that things move quicker when you're hosting, but we'll ooh, what is this? What did
Yeah,
you do here?
what is that, Josh? Do I need to fix that? Oh, okay.
No, but anyways, so here we're
Just
gonna be. Oh no, it's a sideways. Thank you.
you wanted that one, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna start here with the Ali Sheba. We're gonna take a look at the late pick five here. Tomorrow we might. There's a couple other races that we might cover outside of the pick five, like Pat Day Mile and some other stuff. But I think for Oaks Day, it's a long weekend. We'll try and get through these in a timely manner here. But yeah, we're gonna be going to mile 16th on the dirt for 4-year-old and up. We got a nice full field here. 9-5 favorite, the 5 Olympiad in this race. We got 8 races. We got some of the best handicap horses out there right now. So Brian, I was told you had notes.
Be still my heart. You came to me first.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, I actually have notes for this race, and unfortunately, I'm just gonna go through my notes because I don't do them often. So Nick Feldman, I apologize. Usually you and I are on the same horse, but I actually did this ahead of time, so I don't know where I'm going to land. But I thought for this race the pace scenario could be a little bit murky, right? I thought the 2 could be close, but I really think the 5 should be the controlling speed here. Olympiad, I think Olympiad's a deserving favorite in this field. Nice improvement last out at Fairgrounds. Now comes back to the 8.5 furlong distance. Probably preferred for this horse. 2 for 2 lifetime at this distance. 6 to 8 in the money lifetime. I don't know how you could fade Bill Mott's barn right now. I mean, there's really no way I can knock Olympiad here. The only way I could see it is maybe if the 2 duels early somehow. But at 9-5, I hate to start the stream that way, but I really think Olympiad's a deserving short-priced horse here.
I could have started with Mark, and Mark probably also picked Olympiad as well, since he's a chalk eating weasel.
And I have other horses I like, but I'm going to let you guys go. I just think Olympiad here can have his own way.
Yeah, and Nick is asking, are we assuming tomorrow is sloppy yielding? Yes.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be getting a ton of rain.
Yeah, so Nick, there's rain's supposed to start tonight. They're calling for rain all day tomorrow. Between tonight, all day tomorrow, and into early Saturday, they're calling between 2 and 3 inches of rain. So, yeah, it's going to be muddy at least all day tomorrow, and you're probably going to see they're calling for rain to start or to stop before first post on Saturday. But obviously, all that rain, they kind of have to move it somewhere. So I would expect on Saturday you're going to have a track that's going to start off sloppy and maybe become good towards the end of the day. But yeah, I would assume, if you're looking, tomorrow is going to be the day that I would have my most focus on. Personally, I like sloppy tracks. I like off going, but yeah, you're going to have a real wet track to play with tomorrow.
Stephen Fox, this is how we hit 5 hours.
That was a 2-minute explanation of yes.
It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain, boys. So, Mark, you like sloppy tracks. So my guess is that you have to like this one horse.
Oh,
Max
yeah, I
Player.
do. I do.
So Max Player is my top pick in this race, assuming that we're going to be sloppy. I mean, his best race was at Suburban in the slop. And that race, I think, is as fast, if not faster, than everybody else in this race. I looked at time form a little bit, which is a figure that I trust a little bit more than a lot more than the Brisnet figs. But that is definitely on Brisnet the best figure in the slop. And not to say that, I mean, Olympiad, I don't think has any races in the slop, if I'm remembering correctly. But I mean, he does have Spitestown, which is definitely a mud influence. But yeah, I think Max Player is going to be nice in this race. I think this is going to set up nicely for him. He's kind of got that similar run style to Olympiad, where he can be up close. Obviously, in the Breeders' Club Classic, he was off slow and was basically done after that. But the 2 races before that, when he was up close, he won that Jockey Club Gold Cup very impressively over Happy Saver, who was a really, really nice horse. So I really like Max Player in here, assuming that we're going to get a lot of rain. Mark, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, very similar to you, Josh. I mean, I can't beat up on Olympiad. He's never caught an off track, but he does have the Tomlinson figures that make you think that he'll probably handle it. Controlling speed should be on the front end. A lot of things to like there. I sort of landed on 2 horses other than Olympiad, and that was Max Player here.
You only get one.
I only get one. Okay, well, Josh already mentioned Max Player, so let me talk about my other one then. The other one is going to be Happy Saver. I thought Happy Saver was actually super interesting in here. 5 of 8 lifetime. He has the Tomlinson's figures. His Suburban was pretty damn good. I realized he couldn't beat Max Player that day, but I think we're talking almost a year ago, and a lot's changed. And I think Happy Saver is another horse that makes quite a lot of sense in here. Similar sort of run style to a Max Player, and like him for very similar sort of reasons.
So it looks like I'm just gonna go through chat real quick. Nick Feldman is also likes Olympiad here. He likes Folsom a little bit. We'll talk maybe a little bit about him a little later.
This is how it feels, Caleb.
Derek's on the 5 and 6. I mean, I know Caleb. Who do you like in here?
Well, I just got off the phone with Jared Bush, and he says that Olympiad is the winner of this race. So that's what I'm going to go with, Olympiad.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, I'm with Brian. I'm very much with Brian, and I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter and in Discord about Max Player might be up around the lead or whatever else, and I don't think we're looking at the same horse. I mean, because this is a horse that has been forwardly placed in 2 of his 12 career starts, both of which at 1.25 miles. This is a huge cutback. I don't think he all of a sudden got good. I think he just got better while going long. So to me, I think this is way too sharp. I kind of agree with who was that? Nick Feldman. Yeah, I agree. I think this is way too sharp for Max Player. A sloppy track or not, I don't think this is the distance he really wants right now. And I think he just kind of got lucky, running those marathon races at 1.25 miles against some pretty bad horses in the Suburban and Jockey Club Gold Cup. So at 5-2, I want nothing to do with Max Player. I'm not really high on Happy Saver either, to be honest, but at least the price is a little bit better. And the connections are a little bit stronger. But for me, Olympiad is going to be a pretty strong single to kick off the season. It wasn't really anybody else I felt strongly about.
So I thought it was pretty funny you mentioned that about Max Player, because that was exactly what my note was. I was like, okay, horrible showing the Breeders' Cup, but let's toss it out. This horse needs help. He can't do it on his own. He's proven that. So is this pace going to do it for him?
Probably. Again, what pace here, right? Olympiad's your only pace presence, and Olympiad really isn't sort of a pace presence. He's probably going to inherit the lead, but is he really a pace presence? I mean, he's quick early, but he's not a horse that's ever really. I mean, he's got an allowance back in October of 2021 where he really went to the lead, but he kind of seems like he's going to inherit the lead. Just kind of going to end up there, right?
I mean, what about Weyburn cutting or stretching out? I mean, but although Weyburn he was closing at 7 furlongs, so I don't know. He had been up close in his other races where he was routing, but he was kind of sitting that same run style second. But I don't know, maybe Weyburn on the stretch out, maybe he shows a little bit more speed. One horse I did kind of want to mention, I don't know. And Caleb, I know you're kind of the West Coast expert here because we don't give Mark any credit for anything here. But Soy Tapatio, I mean, this is a huge class test for him. But if we get a little bit of mud, we get a lot of rain. Not this time. He's had a lot of success on the slop, and if you go back to his maiden race, I mean, he definitely did show speed, and he got the lead, and he was gone. You got Flavian Pratt aboard here for Doug O'Neill. Any interest at all in this 4?
No, not for me. I do think that given the murky pace setup, that this does feel like the kind of horse that's coming in out of those West Coast races that are typically run a little bit faster early than the East Coast races. The raw time's a little bit faster. Wouldn't surprise me to see Pratt get aggressive with this horse because that does seem to be like his likely best chance to land a blow in this field. But even so, I just don't think he's good enough. But but if we get through the first 5 or 6 races and their vast majority have been gone gate to wire, I mean, he might make my ticket as like a C, but it would be a stretch.
Yeah, it looks like MKT here was asking about pace on the dirt. How it's been holding at Churchill so far this meet. The first weekend it didn't seem like, on the first opening night it didn't seem like speed was all that good, and then I didn't get to watch much today, but I heard that it seemed like inside speed was very good today. Correct?
Speed in general was pretty good. You weren't seeing deep closers getting there. You were seeing speedier types holding on. But again, not a ton of routes today. So, they were going kind of to a mile. There wasn't those longer races. But yeah, it seemed like speed was pretty good today. Again, though, you get a bunch of rain. Let's see what actually, how that changes the track.
We say that every year because every year it rains during the Derby. They seal it, they come off, and then the speed carries on Derby day. Churchill has historically played well when wet to speed. I mean, where we've had one closer in the last 9 years win, and it's rained probably 7 of those years. It's been notoriously wet, so it wouldn't surprise me if even wet the speed is going to be good come Saturday. Even tomorrow.
So, Brian, I do have a question for you. What is more on brand? Mark taking the chalk and then still going 6 wide, or Road Warrior taking Happy Saver in this spot?
Oh, hold on. Can I phone a friend? I need to phone a friend. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Ellis, hey. Is it okay to take the chalk with 7 horses underneath? It is. Okay. So I just called our friend down at Equibase. He said Mark is more on brand for taking the chalk with 5 other horses.
Okay. I was just checking. I figured I'd ask.
Mark didn't find that funny.
No, but Derek is remembering Funny Duck. Splashing home in the Pat Day Mile.
Didn't he splash home in the Derby as well?
No, Funny Duck was in Pat Day Mile.
Oh, it was a Pat Day Mile? Oh, I thought it was the Derby. Okay. I remember he splashed home.
Justify won the Derby that year. He did not win. Funny Duck did not win the Derby.
No, I thought
Justify is lucky that Funny Duck wasn't.
Yeah, he is very lucky. Very lucky that the Ridgeling didn't show up.
Who's Nick Feldman talking about, Mark?
It was a filly. I have no idea.
Road Warrior will answer that for you. Don't worry. He'll have the answer for you real quick.
I don't think it was justified.
That brown horse that closed from the clouds and we never saw again.
I was going to say Country House, but
I need a trigger warning on Country House still at this point. But I was just saying, before we move on, Josh, 2 other horses that we probably should mention. Both Weyburn and the works horses coming to this were both Weyburn and Folsom. Both of those are horses that should really take to an off track, and they're both at least Weyburn is going to be a little more forwardly placed. Folsom probably needs a setup in front of him. I don't know if I really love either one of them, but they were the works horses there. So
all right. Well, hey, as long as we're going to do this, I'd like to talk about the 3 Militarist and 8 Title Ready. That covers the whole field.
Just so we cover the whole field?
But that's how we're going to start.
We're staying on brand by going 20 minutes on a 5-horse field. That's just us.
Man, oh man.
We basically just talked Olympiad into the winner's circle, so
thank you. I appreciate
all
it.
that time.
Works for me.
No complaints.
Let's go ahead and take a look at race 8, the Edgewood here. We're gonna be going 1 mile and 16th on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. We got 2 short price Chad Brown horses in here. I think they're 5 to 2 and 7 or 3 to 1. Yeah, no, 5 to 2 and 7 to 2. The 8 Spicers.
There's 3 Chad Browns.
Oh, is that another Chad Brown horse? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed the 3rd Chad Brown, so that's probably the one that beats me.
Which one did you miss? Because I liked one of them.
The 8 is the one I missed.
Oh crap.
We got a full field of 10. Mark, I will let you wax poetic in the Chad Brown stakes here.
You get one.
Yeah, I will wax poetic and Chad Brown 6. I think that this race really depends on does it stay on the turf or not. I'm going to talk like it does stay on the turf. I also have a captive if it doesn't stay on the turf. So if somebody really wants to know those, I give you as well. I think if it stays on the turf, it's really between McCulloch and Dolce Zell, the 3 and the 5. It seems like right now Pratt is getting all the go-to Chad mounts. So I'd imagine McCulloch is the more well-meant horse here, but Arad did technically have choice and went Dolce Zell. So, take with that, whatever you make. Both of them make a lot of sense. This is also a race that you could go 10 deep in fairly easy, and I wouldn't fault you. It's a wide open, really competitive field. Those were the two that I thought were best. But again, you're talking a bunch of horses who you probably haven't seen their best running, and you're hoping everybody in here is taking a step forward. Again, a race that I want to be a little more spread in.
What about you, Caleb?
Yeah, I do kind of agree that it's a race that's worth spreading in, but I'm not really interested in McCulloch. That's probably the horse I'd be against in here. I think people are going to see that big figure from his maiden race. At least on time form, it came back pretty monstrous, and I just don't think that's a good figure. I'm not saying that it's wrong.
I mean, her even.
Even her, yeah. I mean, she might change her mind later, but for now, yeah, her. The figs came back fast, but that was a race full of first-time starters. And pretty much everybody regressed heavily out of that race, including McCulloch, who regressed about 20 points in the next start. Consumer Spending went on to win 2 in a row, but still regressed 9 and 14 points in the next 2 starts. I think people are going to get suckered in by that big fig, and I just don't think it's real. So I'm going to be against McCulloch just kind of based off of that perspective. I tried hard to make a case for some of the fairground shippers, but I just think they're probably a cut below in here. So ultimately, I ended up with somewhat boring, I guess. I did take the other 2 Chads. I thought Dolce Zell made sense. I read that into that as Irad had choice and then stays on the 5 here. This is a horse that handled soft turf over in France, so I'm not worried about the ground coming up yielding or worse come tomorrow, assuming it does stay on the turf. And didn't think this filly ran badly at all in the Appalachian to just miss to Spenderella. So I think Dolce Zell makes a lot of sense. And I thought Spicer also looked good here. I thought this is, probably one of, if not your kind of default pace setter, depending what Leparoux does with the 2. And I think this is a race where you probably want to be a little forwardly placed, especially if the turf course is pretty soft. I know that she did set slow fractions last time and still got beat by her stablemate, but I've been on the record saying before that Tampa routes on the turf are extremely difficult to wire. One of the toughest courses in the country to wire on the lead. So I'm not really holding that against her, the fact that she got caught there. If you look at where the other horse was that was contesting the pace with Spicer, that horse totally folded up and ran next to last. So I think that was a better race than it looks, and I think that Spicer fits in here. But neither one of them are going to be enormous prices or anything. I did kind of care for one more price, but I'll punt to Brian and see what he thinks.
Yeah. So I got a couple prices I like. No surprise. When I capped this originally, I did land on – I had some notes in the 5. I'm going to play against the 5 here. I mean, it's a Chad horse, but at 5-2, I'm not overly impressed here. Probably need to see more, let the horse beat me kind of thing. It doesn't seem like the powerhouse Chad filly on turf we were accustomed to seeing, The 3 I thought was interesting, so I'll give Mark some credit there. I think it was Mark. I like the move to Flavrian here just because, obviously Chad is great off layoff, so no concern for any of that. But it's one of those things, Pratt was on a Chad horse today while Irad was on a Todd horse. Does that mean anything? I don't know. It's still too early to tell, but I thought the 3 was interesting. One of the prices I'm going to try and make a case for here is the 9 New Year's Eve. I kind of hate the move from Biscuit to Luis here. Biscuit rode well at Fairgrounds, winning 2 times. But then that last race, man, it was not a good race. He was 4 wide. He flattened. So I understand why they changed the jockey at this point. I mean, if Sai is available, he should get the call, right? But his patience is going to pay off. I think he should be able to sit a trip and get clear and come roaring home late. It's a step up in class, but the run style fits. The speed numbers kind of fit with a little bit of improvement for a 4th lifetime start. And at 12-1, it's the kind of horse that I think I'd want to be covered to. like I said, I like a couple of their prices, but I'll see what Josh has.
I mean, I basically was looking at the 2 Chad horses, the 3 and the 5, until I found the surprise 8 and 3rd Chad in the 8 horse. But at least when I took a quick look through time form, the 8 seemed to be of the 3 the lesser of the 3 of them. I'll probably take a closer look sometime tomorrow morning or maybe after this to see what I'm going to do with this 8. The other horse I was interested in was this 6, shipping in from the West Coast, an Agent Mistake. You know, looking on Brisnet, I wasn't super impressed by this horse, but then I took a look at some of the time form figs, and this horse's best race, I want to say it might be the Santa Anita race, unless I got mixed up, but it was maybe a point or two slower than the best in this spot. And I think the best fig in this field was McCulloch's maiden race. And you know, Caleb made kind of a good point, like regressed greatly off that race. So maybe that fig was just bad with the way the other horses kind of regressed in that spot. So if you kind of toss that fig out, the 6 is right there. And you get Mario Gutierrez shipping in to ride this horse. You know, Doug O'Neill, I don't think he's really had much of a problem shipping, but he just doesn't do it that much. So, you know, I expect this horse to be, you know, to be cranked for this spot. So, I think 15-1, you'll get a nice little price here. I'm going to use this horse as a B in this race in some way, shape, or form, and I'll definitely use this horse underneath as well in like exactas and tries, and I think that this horse is going to present a little bit of value to and is a nice alternative to some of the other Chad horses.
Okay, so I have 2 prices that I liked in here, and I'm absolutely shocked that Brian wasn't on either one of them. So
which one?
Go ahead.
Which one?
2 or the 7. 2 or the 7.
Oh no, you can have both of them.
I can have both of them? Really? Okay, cool.
I like your blue one. I'm surprised you went there though.
I'm with Sexy J. I'm with Sexy J.
No, I do like the 2. I think, you know, you have. I realize Julian isn't known as a Sendy jock, but you're talking about a horse that's won 3 in a row. Brendan Walsh is 50% on the meet so far, and he's about 30% up over the last year when he goes to Frenchie. So, you know, it's a horse that probably is your controlling pace, inherits the lead here. And there's not a ton of pace in this race. There's no horse that sort of desperately needs the lead or is really going to press early. I think it gives Julian a ton of options, and if Julian can get on the lead and kind of slow this down, I think My Philly Twist is absolutely super interesting in here. You know, and I mean, I have my moments with Julian, but we are in the state of Kentucky, and apparently he knows how to win races there. So, so I'm okay using that horse. The other one is Beechnut Trophy, the Safi Gaff horse. Now, I realize, and we'll probably talk about this more tomorrow, I don't really trust Safi horses outside the state of Florida. But, you know, Beechnut Trophy has actually run some fairly decent races coming out of the common race with My Philly Twirl and the 2 horse that I was talking about there. And, you know, it wasn't run horribly. You know, 3rd by a head was kind of in contention late, and honestly got floated real wide that day. So, you know, I mean, it's a 10-1 that I can they're both 10-1 horses that I can kind of make some excuses for. And those were my 2 Bs. And I thought they were sort of interesting horses that I thought still had some upside.
Objection, Your Honor, Josh. Brian Duransky, attorney for Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to rule objection against Mark 2 turns. He took 2 horses, and Miss Hurd is bigger than Mark.
Okay. I mean, first thing, it took me a minute. I tried to have a straight face. I can't do it.
God. Caleb, was there anything else in here that you liked?
All those memes out there. Sorry.
No, we covered everybody. I think that has a chance. I mean, I took a look at Dreamlith because I think the turf pedigree is really interesting there. That horse seems like she should like the grass, but I don't really like Diodoro going turf or dirt to turf, and especially in a graded stakes when she's been not all that competitive lately. So I couldn't quite get there. But for me, this is a race at a high level. I'm going to be spread in because I'm not going to try very hard to beat Olympiad. I will spread here to try to catch a price.
Yeah, I was. I thought Derek's Wilcox is here at point that the turf has actually played very fast so far. You've seen, horses that have been winning on the turf have been very forwardly placed. Now, I don't know if we get a ton of rain, does that inherently slow the track down and change that? But right now, there's been a real speed bias, so I think it moves up somebody like the 2 who I had mentioned before.
Hey, Mark, you're no longer allowed to say the word rain for the rest of the stream.
No, he's going to say deluge.
But I plan on making it rain tomorrow.
I thought Dreamlift made a lot of sense. It's a step up in class. If this washes off the turf, obviously Dreamlift would be my top choice. I agree with everything Caleb said. I thought Jay was spot on. This is the first horse I wrote down in my notes. I thought if it stayed on the turf, the filly was going to be okay. The pedigree isn't horrible. Watching this filly last out, lost to Yaguri and then turn her loose 2 back, which are 2 speedy fillies on dirt. With this run style on turf, if there's honest fractions, I think this horse is going to be very interesting. It's just, Vasquez and Diodoro combo on turf, like Caleb said, isn't exactly the breadwinner for us.
But Brian, is she in here because of the weather? I mean, did they inherently point her going, hey, it always rains on Derby weekend in Kentucky. Let's throw her in a turf race and see if we can get a washed off field and steal one.
I don't think so. Look, the pedigree says turf will be fine. I think they've won 1 race or 2 races out of 6 tries. They're going to try a new distance. They're going to try a new surface. Is it a reach? Probably not. But the Rachel Alexandra wasn't that great. The Josh just went through it. The other one wasn't that great. The fantasy, you know what I mean? So, it wouldn't surprise me if you watch the replay from Rachel Alexandra. She was a little plotty, maybe. So turf might fit really, really well.
I don't hate that take at all. No, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting move for sure to take a grade 2 winner at 2 and all of a sudden try it on turf after 2 unsuccessful races on the dirt. But I mean, the pedigree looks fine. Street Cry and Medaglia d'Oro. I mean, that'll run on anything. So, and I did see some. There is some love for the 10 here. Both Derek and Jay like the 10 here. MKT did mention your 2. Thinks the 2 is interesting. Could be Lone Speed, unless the 8 can go with them. So you have a backer there, Mark. Someone believes in you, and Caleb even kind of liked it.
There's a first time for everything.
My favorite is when Caleb likes your horse, but on top of it is surprised that you picked it. So.
I think Caleb is just inherently surprised whenever we agree on a horse. I actually prefer when I like a horse and Caleb shits all over it because that's when it normally puts it right in the winner's circle.
He's like, I like your 2. I don't know how you got there.
Right.
I mean, I know how I got there. I don't know how you got there.
I mean, it's Julian Leperoux on a speed horse, and the horse has 2 numbers in its morning line, so I don't know how Mark got there.
Well, isn't there a slash in between 2 of them?
No, there's actually 3 if you don't count the slash.
Mark didn't pick that. He let somebody else pick that for him.
All right, let's keep going. We got the grade 2 here. 8 bells going 7 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies. And it looks like let me scroll down. It looks like we got 10 horses signed up for this race. Caleb, I'm gonna let you go first. But bonus question before you start: who did I pick in this race?
Oh, that's a very easy question, Josh.
Okay.
You chose. Well, there's probably 2 horses you could have picked in here, actually.
No, there's only one. There's one. I know who it is.
Well, let me see if there's a Corrales horse anywhere.
I hope it's not my horse.
It's got to be the 2 or the 3. I would say the 3.
No, he
chose
the
3. Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
The
3 cherries is greater than 2.5 cherries, dude. It's a simple system.
I mean, horse broke its maiden. Horse broke its maiden on dirt. Win the synthetic and showed speed. I mean, the three looks like it's just going to get loose in this spot. Didn't matter synthetic or dirt. But Caleb, what do you think here?
Well, I do like your 3 a little bit, but I certainly don't think the horse gets loose. I thought there was a lot of speed in here. I mean, I thought the 2 is extremely quick.
Right.
The 3 very fast. The 5 had good speed as a 2-year-old, and then I don't know what happened in the last 2, but you are getting a pretty big upgrade in the saddle from Vasquez and Franco. So to me, I thought there was a lot of speed. I wasn't really looking to key around a speed horse here. So I think it's kind of obvious as far as what you do with number 8, Matareya. Um, that horse, if she repeats the Beaumont, I think this field runs for second. That race was just enormous. I mean, she won it under wraps. It was at 7 furlongs. She comes from off the pace, but she can be forwardly placed if she needs to be. The only argument I can really make against her is that does she maybe kind of go backwards off of that? That was a really big effort on the heels of another really big effort, and she wasn't necessarily quite that good at 2. So, I mean, is there a risk that this filly might bounce a little bit? Is there a risk that she burns up, sitting a little too close to the pace? I'm not really sure. So she'll be an A for me, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that she'll be an A, but she'll be a very short price. The only other horse I liked in here that I'll use roughly equally would be the 6, Gerrymander. If I'm taking an off the pace horse, even though she did wire last out, I think she'll be further back with Rosario up and given the pace set up here. I think Gerrymander is the best off the pace runner in the field. If you look who she's beaten, I mean, she beat Nest, who is your Oaks favorite right now, and she beat Nest by over half a length. So, she cuts back from a mile. I always love horses cutting back from a mile going to 7 furlongs. There is a layoff to consider a little bit, as well as handling a sloppy track for the first time. But if she's fit, and these Chad Brown runners have been showing up pretty much every day lately, I think that Gerrymander is the other horse I'd want a big piece of.
Brian.
All right. Well, since you like the 3, Josh, I'm going to overtalk the 2 here. I thought Pretty Birdie had a great 2-year-old summer, and they kind of faded in September. Was beat by Echo Zulu, who's second choice in the Oaks, and then sent to the barn in the winter. The February effort was nice. Obviously needed a race. Came back and won at a similar level. Even though it was kind of I wonder how not being on Lasix affects her here. Didn't seem to be an issue in 2021 on debut. So I'd imagine she's going to be okay, especially with maturing over the winter. But, I thought the jockey change here from Cabrera to Florent was interesting. I'd like to see a similar ride here, be forwardly placed. Should be, I don't want to say lone speed because you're thinking the 3 is going to be lone speed, but should be able to sit somewhere, within a neck of the lead. And then I'd expect Florent to kind of have his choice on how he wants to approach it, from the half-mile pole. And then again, this is one of those horses where if it's wet, the one time on a good surface, was the Echo Zulu race where she was eased in the spin away. And so I don't really have too much judgment on how this horse is going to run on the off track. But, a speed horse in the off track, I just talked about that a little bit ago. I'd be all over this too if it's a little dirty. And then, I'm just going to keep going before Mark cuts me off and steals my other horse. But I thought the second horse I'm going to be all over Sweet Danny Girl, the 10. Really weird trip for this filly. Solid in debut. Then the fall happened. Goes to Gulfstream Park and probably needed a bit of conditioning. And runs into Kathleen O, who is, looks really tough in the Oaks later in the card. I like to turn back from a mile to 7. The mile might have been a little bit much there, but it's hard to tell given what Kathleen O did to that field. This is a softer spot. A 6-1 morning line is generous for a filly. That's 3 for 4 in the money, 2 for 2 in the money at Churchill. And it's one of those things. If the 2 and the 3 and or the 8 all get into a pace battle, the 10 should be able to pick up pieces.
All right, Mark. You said you wanted to go last.
I did say I want to go last. Caleb stole one of my horses. That was Gerrymander, the 6, who I like a ton in here. And the other horse, I'm expecting this to be a bog. I'm expecting to get a lot of rain. And Gerrymander is one of those horses that should be able to handle the off-going, massive Tomlinson's figures. The other real Tommy horse in here is the 7, Lacveo Desert, who I know I'm slaughtering that name so that I'm doing it right.
Desert. There's only one S. I'm fat. Trust me, 2 S's in dessert.
Yeah, because you wanted to go to dessert twice, but you only want to cross the desert once.
2 times.
2 times. 2 times. Okay. So this is a horse that is perfect. A lot, obviously 1 for 1, broke to made last out. Dio with Cohen up, and massive Tomlinson's figures and a lot of speed. This is obviously a massive class test. I'm not getting beyond that. But you're getting 30 to 1 here for a horse that's probably going to be 50 to 1. When they reach the gates, and a horse that can be forwardly placed and has a lot of tactical speed. huge class test. I'm not getting over that, but a horse that should handle the off going, sloppy going. And if you're looking for an absolute bomb, I thought the horse was quite interesting.
Guys, I'm having heart problems in my left ears, acting funny. Did Mark just use the word bomb?
I did.
Is it a Baffert horse shipping to West Virginia? What is happening? I've never heard Mark use this word before, and I don't understand what it means coming from a northeastern U.S. kind of person.
I mean, I used bomb, and the horse was not less than 5-2 or something. So
I'm surprised, or a little bit surprised, Mark didn't go for the 5 here, because that horse. I mean, I don't have the DRF pulled up, but I know gun runners are winning at just some absolutely criminal number in the mud. Tap it on bottom. I would guess these are the best Tommies in the field or close to it. Has a blazing win over a muddy track. I mean, are you going to use the 5 at all, Mark?
Defensively.
Yeah, if it does come up a huge bog, I would definitely use the 5. Yeah, I'm not gonna get away from the 5. Obviously the horse is 1 for 1 on the off going. The 5 would be definitely a massive Thomason's wet track sort of fig, especially considering the best figure on both DRF and time form. I think for the horse was that one off. I guess. Little slightly improved, but one of the better figures was that debut in the off going at Lone Star.
Yep. Yeah, I was very interested in this 5. I just didn't know. Like I said, I think the 3 is going to end up being the speed in this 5. I mean, I could be wrong, but the 3's also got, of the speed horses, has the strongest figs in the race. So that, like I said, that was going to be my top pick here. I was interested in this 5. And I think Caleb kind of pointed out some nice things. Gun Runner is winning at like 36% in the mud right now. Had that nice run over the mud to start his career, or her career. And, you're getting, I know Asmussen's been cold as hell in Kentucky, but you're getting Asmussen IRAD, and you're getting 10-1. And I fully expect that you're going to get a good price on this as an alternate to some of the shorter price horses. And I believe on time form, this horse was right there. Like wasn't super slow. I think was maybe a notch below, but the time form figs seemed to match up pretty nicely there. So
the horse is definitely a notch below Caleb's 8, and I think the 8's the class of the field. And if the horse takes to the sloppy going, it's a 1 horse race. But if you're looking for those outsiders who, a little calamity with a slop, this is definitely one you want to consider.
Hey, let me ask you a question, because you just mentioned the 8 being class of the field, and the note I had for the 8 I thought was interesting. A short price, and this horse has faced no adversity. Nobody really talked about the 8. Nobody's really challenged the 8. She's done everything her way. Pratt's aboard. If the 2 and the 3 go and give this 8 some early pressure, I mean, you see what happened in the first 3 races. When this horse did not make the lead, this horse did not win.
Except for the Beaumont, the last out, where she didn't make the lead and then passed. I mean, I realized she was second by a length. Like I'm not. Yeah. It's not like she had a ton of adversity. I'm not trying to make that argument. I'm simply making. I don't think she's a desperate need the lead type. I think she's just got a lot of natural foot, and she ends up on the lead, and nobody can kind of go with her.
I guess the question is, though, you guys are saying there's a lot of speed in this race. Right. So if she's going to be 4th, back a length and a half, 2 lengths instead of second a length, like, do you think that makes a difference?
No, but if Rosario is still on the mount, it probably does. Pratt, it probably doesn't, right? I'm just, I like the 2 as a speed horse. Josh likes the 3 as a speed horse, both inside of the 8, obviously, because I know numbers. So it's one of those things where I think you're going to have, this 8 out of a comfort zone.
I think that's a good point, Brian. I mean, I still think the 8's. These Godolphin horses are firing something crazy right now. I think that 8's probably good enough to work with Pratt aboard to work a trip from 2nd or 4th. But if you're looking to poke holes and to try to get around a pretty big favorite, then I think that's a valid point to bring up.
That's all I'm trying to do. At 5-2, it's worth talking about, because it's
I think you'll get probably. Is that what the line is? 5-2.
Morning line is.
Surprised if you get that.
9 to 5.
There's 9 to 5. Yeah, 9 to 5 is where I had it. Yep.
I want to get to a couple of comments in chat here real quick. I did see Jay. Jay posted that he only had, I think, one strong opinion. Or if he had one strong opinion in this card, there we go. No, it was Nick. One of the strongest opinions of the weekend for him, and it's no secret, Matarea, top pick. She's going to win the Acorn as well. Jay agreeing, saying Madureira close to a lock. I saw Road Warrior said bye. Mark kind of flashed it when he gave his Oaks picks. We'll scroll back up. Nick saying if Cox didn't think Madureira is the next superstar, then Flo would have just got the mount back. Pratt picks up this mount last out and she runs off the screen. She's in the path to possible BC. And Mark, apparently you said rain again.
Damn it!
But yeah, no. Nick is also liking the 5 here. He says 5 underneath, first time IRAD 10-1. He likes the Brisnet E2 pace figure 111, pretty good number, which is kind of like where you're going to see the horse at second call. So
if you look at optics, the 5 looks beautiful on optics as a horse.
Yeah, this 5 is going to get slept on. I think that'll be the value of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I had my wet picks as 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I think the 5 is a massive standout. If you get those kind of odds, yeah, I love the 5 at 10-1. I guess my concern was I just thought that was a terrible morning line. I thought you were going to get more like 5-1.
Yeah, but this is one of those races where if it's super muddy, we may see the 8 scratch out here, right? If they've got high hopes for this 8,
yeah,
you may see the 8 scratch out, and then you've got a race because then you've got two inside drawn speed horses. Who knows?
In all honesty, me being me, I hope the 8 runs because I hope the 8 runs and doesn't handle the off going, and that gives me a lot more value than if the 8 scratches out and then I'm dealt with what's left and people are saying, oh, let's find all the mud horses instead of this superstar in the making. I would much rather the 8 stay in.
So you're not going to bet the 8?
If
it's muddy and there's 4 horses in the race,
if it is muddy, I will not bet the 8. It will be on 0 tickets if this is actually.
All right. Hold on, Steven. Is Steven still here? Steven, if you're still here, please remember this tomorrow when Mark posts his tickets in the group chat.
Yeah, he's gonna be single. I'm single to the 8, guys.
Yeah, I'm single. No, I pressed the 8 5 times.
A to B.
Let's move on. I already put up the thing for the turf sprint, thinking we were moving on, and then you guys had like a 4-minute conversation after that. But we got we got the grade 2 Twin Spires turf sprint here, race 10 on the card. I will be honest with you guys. I started looking at this race. And I was like, oh, I know who's going to be the favorite in this race. And definitely was not the favorite. I think your favorite's going to be Arrest Me Red at 4-1. You got a nice full field of 13 in this race. And got a couple. You got some really, really nice turf sprinters in here. And I'll tell you what, man. There is one horse that is getting absolutely disrespected on this morning line. And that's the number 1 Gregorian Chant. Like 10-1. I mean, that's like the best turf sprinter out west. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, like, yeah, it's West Coast turf sprints, but I was kind of surprised there. I kind of have Gregorian Chant as a mix between like an A. Like, I don't know if he's going to be absolutely an A, because I have another horse in this race that I like much more. But I mean, Gregorian Chant gets Joel Rosario board. I mean, I don't know. This looks like a little misstep. Maybe because it's the inside post. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of ridiculous that this horse was 10-1 on the morning line. But I mean, my top pick's going to be the 11 here, Just Might. I mean, Just Might's going to be posted outside. He's only got one option. He's going to have to go. And I know kind of tried to stalk last time. After seeing the results of trying to stalk. I don't think they try that again. And I think Bejarano's, he's just going to send it. So I don't know. I mean, Hernandez isn't the board here. So I don't know if, something happened, like was just told like, we're going to go a different direction because Hernandez has ridden this horse a ton. So it was pretty interesting to see that Bejarano gets aboard. Bejarano has won with this horse before on the dirt. But I definitely think the 11 is going to go out there, going to get the go-go juice. And, I not really super interested in the war that runs like once every like 7 months or every time we have a new moon or whatever. But
so should we be shocked that you took the speed of the speed?
No, you should not be shocked.
Okay.
The only thing that would be more shocking is if there was a Ravelli horse in this race and I didn't take that horse.
That's your second Bejarano pick of the show, though. I just want to point that out.
Dude,
Hey.
Bejarano has been riding really well considering how trash the mounts he's been getting. He can ride like a legit solid jock, considering he's moving up horses that have no business being moved up.
I feel like you and I had this conversation.
We did,
before.
and we've had it multiple times. And he's a jock that you play Indiana Grand, and the guy just runs the house there. And you see him at Churchill, and he's getting trash mounts, and he's running way beyond what they deserve to be running because he's giving them really good rides.
I will say, like, I kind of just highlighted two horses real quick. I kind of think this is a spread race. Like, I know it's super easy to say that, hey, there's 13 horses in this race. That's spread. But I definitely think this is going to be a race that I probably use like 4, like total in my structure, which like for me is a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Brian, what did you think here in this race?
Well, you talked about Gregorian Chant, and that's the first horse I had. And there's 2 horses I really like here. And Gregorian Chant was one of them at 10-1. Needed a class relief to win that last, but a great season, 4 out of 6 finishes in the money. The worst effort was the Jopper or Yapper, however the hell you say it, with Casa Creed and Chewing Gum, were just too much for the gelding, right? I do expect the pace up front. Joel, my note says, Joel on this one at 10-1 just seems ripe. Patience with Joel. He wins it. I just hope he doesn't fall too far back. Need a nice clean start from Joel. Sit 2 to 4 lengths back. Let the crazy speed horses go, because there's going to be a lot for this 5.5 furlong sprint. And then in the turn, start seeing him move, right? If he can get out in the turn and find a path, I think this horse is going to be tough. I think there's plenty of pace in this race between the 11, the 6, the 10, the 12. I think there's plenty of pace to get there. The 3. I mentioned 4 horses about the speed. I left off Caravel. And if I have to pick a speed horse, that's where I'd go, is Caravel. I'm just going to say Brad Cox's barn has the best hay and oats this side of the Mississippi. I mean, he loved the motion barn, ran really well, wins, the Queen Bee, found some summer 2021 form. I remember really liking this horse last year, and now comes here with some speed and gets 5 pounds from the boys. It's one of those things where it could be an interesting spot if the price is right for Caravel.
Okay, Shoe.
What's Shoe got to do with it?
Barshoe? Dude, Barshoe loves the that's like that's his only angle is the girls against the boys. Come on.
I'm sorry, who? Oh, Barshoe.
Yeah, Barshoe.
Oh,
Not the Shoodle.
No, not the Shoodle.
No, it's just one of those things. I didn't realize it was the mare against the boys until I circled back through. I'm like, man, I could make an argument for a few different horses here. I'll let Mark and Caleb talk, but when we circle back through, I can make a strong argument for one. But I think Caleb's going to be on it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I guess I'll go then. So I guess to touch on your picks before getting any farther, I also like Gregorian Chant. Big fan of this horse. Curious if 5.5 might be a tad sharp for him, but I do think that's a very respectable horse, and he makes a lot of sense in here at a good price. Caravel, I don't know what to do with. If it wasn't in the Cox barn, I would chuck this horse because I think that she got kind of exposed against males in her 3 starts last year.
Word.
But with the Brad Cox Magic Beans, I don't know. Maybe this is a different horse. But the price horse that I actually landed up on is the horse that Corrales gets off of Caravel to end up riding, which is the number 12, Johnny Unleashed. Yeah. This is a horse that is 12-1 in the book. And to me, for this being a turf sprint, it feels like it's surprisingly light on early speed. I mean, I guess you have a horse like Bran shipping in from California, with the down the hill sprints that had some speed. And then you have the Wesley Ward horses that, are generally forward, although not necessarily, dead speed horses. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see Johnny Unleashed sitting like 2nd or maybe 3rd going into the turn here. And I think this is a horse that, really kind of fits on a lot of metrics. I mean, he was 2nd to Golden Pal last out in the Shakertown. I mean, nobody was beating Golden Pal that day, but nevertheless, he was still 2nd and almost a length clear of Gear Jockey. He's shown a couple times that he actually doesn't need the lead, where he's passed a couple of horses. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the front, but he certainly has the tactical speed to be forwardly placed here. I'm not sure if Corrales truly had choice or if he just sticks with the connections he rides with more, but either way, I think he's an excellent and very underrated jockey here. So I like the fact Corrales is up, and I'm just not really a fan of Just Might. I think that he's going to find a way to lose this race, and when he somehow does, I feel like Johnny Unleashed is the horse that stands to benefit the most because he's going to be most likely next in line. So I thought that's a great price on a horse that handles softer ground and should be forwardly placed in this race without a ton of other speed.
You got to love when the 44% jock is the one that we're talking about being the ignored and underappreciated jock, right? Like sometimes Corrales, some of the stuff that kid does is, and I realize he's not a kid, but some of the stuff he does is pretty absurd. So I'm going to
I also love the Ricky Bobby stat that he's got, where he's got 4 wins and 9 starts, and he's got 0 places, 0 shows. So if he's not winning, then I don't know what's gonna happen. But
dude, Corrales, he runs his races. He's gonna win or he's gonna finish last, and there's no in between. That's just how he plays. So I'm gonna kind of end up on. You guys have already talked about a number of other horses that I thought were really interesting. Nobody's talked Learjet yet, so I'll probably loop back to that horse. Gregorian Champ we've talked about. A lot of horses that I liked in here. I sort of ended up on a weird horse here that I'm kind of super interested in, and that's the 4 Chasing Artie. I'm assuming that this stays on the turf and that the turf is a bog. So Chasing Artie is 4 for 4 across the turf, 4 for 4 at this distance, and 2 of those wins happen to be on soft turf. Both Yielding and Good are 2 of those wins. This is, you're getting Jose Ortiz. I don't know if the Safi beans have shipped to Kentucky. I know, we've always talked about this thing of does Safi's form translate outside the state of Florida? Sometimes that's a little questionable, but this is a horse at 20-1 who isn't that much slower than the major contenders in here. You're going to get a horse that has some tactical speed to be involved early. Should give Jose some choices to make here. And if the horse runs back to that last allowance fig is not that much slower than some of the other horses in this field at 20-1. I thought Chasing Artie was a super interesting, interesting player here. And I mentioned Learjet, and I know Brian kind of nodded at that. Rispoli taking the mount, Gaff gets off to hop on Caravel. Probably for connections that he rides a ton for. But, I thought Learjet in here was really interesting as well. My only concern with the Learjet, horses obviously has some decent European form and a horse that, was 5th in the Sharkstown, which had a really kind of bizarre pace complexion and, won the start prior to that. And is again 2 for 3 at the distance, horse that, seems to be, a pretty darn talented horse. My only concern really here with the Learjet is does Learjet, the gelding, really handle the softer going? If you look at his races, it seems like when it gets soft, he just kind of doesn't show up as well as when it's a little firmer. He's a horse that I would love to catch at, hopefully he ships up to Saratoga and I can catch him when it's a little bit faster during the summer. But no, I thought, somebody, I think this is a race, again, big spread fields. I think you can be a little cute in these kind of races, and I thought somebody like Chasing Artie at a big price made a lot of sense.
Can I? Hey Josh, I'm going to jump in with a horse nobody's taking because I was surprised. I thought Caleb would be on this horse, but Caleb sees the pace picture a lot different than I did. I saw it being a little contested, with 4 or 5 horses up front. I think this race might actually set up well for Diamond Oops, the 7, and nobody was there. I thought somebody would have been. The Shaker Town was on soft turf. The 12 was also in the Shaker Town. Very similar figures on what I'm looking at here. It's one of those things where, my pace perspective, I said, okay, the 3 of the 6 may be the early leader. The outside drawn horses, the 11, 12, midway down the backstretch, come up to the pace. And if we get some real blistering fractions here, I thought Diamond Oops could sit the perfect trip as really the only true quote unquote presser in this field.
Doesn't he kind of need a setup, and doesn't he honestly want to go? Isn't this a little sharp for Diamond Oops? Like, I mean, he's one for 8 at the distance or something stupid like that.
But form wise, the Diamond Oops is coming in great, and the form's there. And if there's going to be 4 horses, as I'm seeing the pace picture, does it help? Maybe it's, maybe you see a 44 and change, 40 low 45, or and then Diamond Oops has a lot to run into, and he needs help. He reminds me of, I forgot who it was earlier. I said they can't do it on its own. He's going to need help, but is it enough pace there for it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of tried to get there, but
I couldn't get there personally. So
it's been a long time since he's won a turf race. Ironically enough, It's been about 2 years, almost 2 years. And the last turf race he's won was actually this one on the year the Derby was running.
Well, that's why I thought it was interesting. We could go hold the whole horse for course angle here. No, I kid. Sorry, it's just one of those things. I thought maybe the pace might work out well.
I wish that B and Cohen had an idea of what to do with this horse, because I've always thought he was a nice horse, but they don't know what to do with him, and it's very obvious.
It's crazy, isn't it? And you want to like this horse because this horse has memories. The horse has 20 career starts or whatever it is. It's like this was the horse in 2017 we loved. 2018 was like, nothing. And then 2019, and we've been all over this horse, and this horse just can't seem to get there. And I hate to say that. I think this horse might have flourished better in a different barn.
Oh, completely agree. This was the horse that was a very talented horse that was not in the right barn. I mean, he's won 1.4 million and they paid 15K for him. Obviously connections have done very well with him, but this is the horse that you expected to be a superstar, and just they never figured it out. And it's sad. Like, you wanted him to be a little more than he ever was.
Fighting Irish has a good point. He could get up for 3rd in the try. Maybe the super, if you like the super or the try.
Oh, totally. A horse he might, completely can see as even an exacta. Like, I could see him getting 2nd. It wouldn't be a shocker. I have a hard time putting him on top.
See, that's my sentimental moment. Sorry, guys.
You guys know that? You guys know that meme where like it's like, hey mom, can I get this? And she's like, what are you talking about? We already have this at home, right? And it's like some fucked up thing. No, you guys not what I mean. Well, Diamond Dupes is just budget gear jockey. So if you're gonna take a presser horse, like I think gear jockey's the horse that you're gonna want. I'm not super interested in gear jockey, but I think gear jockey, at least right now, is a completely better horse.
He's your workhorse.
Nobody wants Brian Hernandez Jr. Nobody wants Brian Hernandez Jr. right now. He's like 0 for 3 on chalks today. Did you see the way he rode today?
I also just think though that gear jockey is I think a little too sharp for him. I think he wants like 6 furlongs or further.
I completely agree, Josh. Completely agree. Yeah.
But
yeah, if you look at his races, he's run best at 6.5. This is a little too sharp.
All right, did anybody look at the 13? Did anybody get the 13 a double or triple take? And I don't mean to talk all horses here, but this is one of those horses I looked at for a long time, wanting to say, can he get back to it? Anybody go there?
I looked at him and then I drew a big fat line through him.
Yeah, he's never run a race fast enough to be what he needs to run here. He needs to find 10 times, probably 10 points in time for him.
See, and it's funny because if you go by optics, his race 2 and 3 back fits here. The way their figures come up.
But you don't have the right haircut to be an optics person.
You don't have any hair.
Your point being, you're wearing an Ellis hat.
This is not an Ellis hat. What part of this is an Ellis hat? This looks like the top of your head.
All right, I'm gonna get to chat here since you guys are just. All right, I'm gonna mute Mark too. Anyways, so here's Jay saying it's a tough race. Everyone's right with their picks. He thinks that every horse has a shot. Yeah, there's like probably like 10 of the horses in this race. If they win, like I wouldn't be like completely surprised. Maybe like 8 of them. If the 13 wins, I would be extremely surprised. So, but yeah, I think it's a pretty wide open race. I really like. I know Caleb already brought up the 12. I really like the 11 and the 12 and the 1 in this spot. There might be 1 or 2 more, like I said, I might use. But yeah, I definitely think it's a wide open race.
And you're gonna be 5 deep here, minimum, right? You've got to be 5 or 6 deep.
I think I'll be like 4 or 5. Yeah. Well, no, I won't be defensively because I won't be using. Like I think I'm going to toss out the favorite, Arrest Me Red. I know we didn't really talk about him, but I think I don't think he's going to be anywhere on my tickets. But
So we're
did
putting.
anyone have interest in the Rest Me Red? The
No, not all. I think I think this is a terrible morning line.
What number was it? I don't know if I can remember.
the
Is
10.
that horse? Is that horse 2?
I mean,
No.
I don't hate him. I don't like him. I'm not building tickets around him, but you know, I don't know. I had him written down as probably somewhere in my 4th or 5th selection.
Aren't you betting on connections alone? Isn't that he's the favorite on connections, right? It's a Rad and Wes Ward, and
I think
Wes Ward has all the turf sprint horses, so it's got to be a Wes Ward horse. Like
he won a race in your backyard, and all you do is talk about Saratoga. I thought you'd be all about it.
I mean, yeah, you know, he run the Mahoney, which is, it is technically a race at Saratoga, but okay.
His race at Aqueduct was pretty good. I mean, the figures
it was
improving up until the last start off the layoff at Gulfstream, where 5 might be a little bit sharp. I mean, I guess I'm not gonna I don't want to talk myself into the favorite, but he is a horse that, you know, I would have somewhere as my 4th-ish pick in this race.
I agreed. He's probably top 4 for me. He's a horse I use, but I want him. You know, if I can get him at double up morning line, I'm much more interested in him than what morning line is.
Like I think like for me, like it's just all I don't want to say game theory. Maybe it's just take construction. I don't know what the word you're looking for, but like he might be like for me might be the 3rd or 4th most likely winner, but he's going to be the shortest price. So like because that correlation like to me doesn't make sense, I'm not going to use him. Like if he wins, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't believe the Wes Ward horse won a turf sprint. Like what in the world is going on?
Yeah, right.
You know, but like I have a couple like if you're going to be chalky elsewhere, like sometimes you got to make a stand somewhere, and I think this is going to be a race where I make a stand against the favorite. Fighting Irish. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say he's a horse that in this type of race, I have no qualms about completely tossing. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel like, oh my God, I threw away 50% of my chance of getting a horizontal home because I tossed this horse. I would be completely okay tossing him.
You are not okay with ever tossing a horse. What are you talking about? I'm going to put him as a C. 9 to 5 in the morning line. I'll make him a D.
He only plays 1D though. Fighting Irish. He says he likes a Rest Me Red here. Second start as a 4-year-old. He likes his chances to improve second off the layoff. He was the one who really, really liked him. The horse that beat him last out won at Belmont also. Yes and Yes.
Yeah, Yes and Yes won today. So
yeah. Nick Vellum said some sort of yes horse. And
let's not talk about Yes and Yes. That was a little painful.
Yeah, Ben Wilkie was coming in here. So a lot of people talking about Diamond Noops being ruined and past his prime. So you must have hit a nerve there, Brian.
Nice country house.
And Jay says, I think a good bet might be a double all over to the 6 and 8. So Jay's just like, fuck this race. Speaking of blocking things out, I did Chase's podcast on Monday, and he brought up a story that I completely forgot about.
Dude, I laughed my ass off when I heard you retell that story.
I
remember you telling me originally, and I heard it again. I laughed my ass off again. It was great.
I completely forgot about the fucking black cat right before the maximum security race. That was just something else, man. Jesus. If you haven't, Chase and I talked on Monday. He met with Mark today or maybe yesterday, but
yesterday,
I saw it got released. I saw it got released today. So check out his podcast. It's the Notorious OTB on the
Notorious
Sports
OTB
Gambling Podcast Network. So, let's get going here to the last race of the night. We got the.
We're not going to talk the last two.
What do you mean?
Well, there's 2 races after this.
We said 7 through 11, Marcus.
Yeah, we said 7 through 11. We said the last pick 5. Race 11.
Hey, shocker, everybody. Mark likes the morning line favorite in race 13.
Race 11, the Kentucky Oaks going a mile and the 8th for 3-year-old fillies. The people liking horses in this race that just like absolutely like Nest and was it Kathleen O or something? I don't know what the fuck people are thinking in this race. We got a field. What do they normally do? 14, and we got an AE in here. Your morning line favorite is Nest at 5-2, which is just incredible. And then you got Kathleen O at 7-2, which is also stupid. And then you have the winner of the race at 4-1, and then you got a bunch of other long prices. Secret Oath at 6-1, and then you got double digits. So Mark, since you're a New York apologist, I'm sure you have a really bad take in this race. So why don't you go ahead and tell me who you like?
A New York apologist and I have a bad take.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sure. I think the board is roughly right. Like I think Nest makes a ton of sense in here. I like horses that like to win. Nest is 4 or 5 lifetime. You're probably gonna get a wet track. That West track performance of the Ashland was super impressive. I really can't fault Nest for anything here. I'm sure Caleb's going to tell me I'm a moron, and I wait for Caleb to put Nest right in the winner's circle. I think Echo Zulu. Again, you're talking a horse that's never lost, a horse that has handled an off going. I think Echo Zulu makes a ton of sense in here as well. I had a hard time with this race because I like a lot of horses in here, and I had a really hard time saying, "Oh, I don't like these horses." I can make a case for half this field. And I thought those two made a ton of sense. I think, and the other horse that I'm super interested in, and Caleb's going to give me shit about being, excited about a Twitter hype horse.
Shamalama ding dong.
Yeah. Shahama, the Pletcher trained horse. If you watched her UAE Oaks, she broke about 7 or 8 lengths behind the field. She basically stood in the gate and basically circled the field and won in a hand ride for absolute fun. She does have a win across the off going, and she has big Tomlinson figures that say she was a legit off going that UAE 1,000 Guineas trial. I thought she was also super interesting in here as well. But again, this is a race that I think you could go, you can make a pretty damn solid case for half the field. The Oaks historically has been a race that does produce prices, much more so than the Derby over the last 10 years. And, I'm excited to see what you guys have as other players in here.
Well, I don't think Echo Zulu has a prayer. I'm not having her on a single ticket. I thought her race back off the layoff was embarrassing. I mean, she was 1-9 that day. We won to more than 1-9, honestly, and was life or death to hold off Hidden Connection. Had everything her own way on the lead. I mean, the pace wasn't quick. And you could argue, oh, maybe she needed one, but I mean, she's never needed one before, and Asmussen horses typically don't. So I don't really buy that logic. I definitely don't want her going an extra 16th with way more pace pressure with the likes of Uguri and Venti Valentine and potentially a couple others. So, the only way this horse makes my ticket is if the track is an absolute swamp and I observe its speed is just unbeatable for multiple races earlier in the day. That's the only chance this horse has to make my ticket. So Echo Zulu, huge fade for me. Kathleen O, probably also going to fade. I didn't like the way she looked since coming to the track. I try not to get too caught up in that because I think sometimes people are a little too speculative about how a horse looks or how they work or whatever else. But, I'm no horseman. I'm no expert. But even I looked at her and I'm like, damn, she looks skinny. Like, she probably, it doesn't look right. So, to me, I mean, I wasn't impressed with the way she showed up. So, I don't like Kathleen O. So, to me, the two horses I do like are kind of the other two. I'm actually with Mark on Nest. I very much like Nest in here. I think she makes all the sense in the world. And the other one is Secret Oath, the one who I think also makes a lot of sense. I mean, she was just absolutely destroying, fillies at Oaklawn all winter, took on the boys, and then just couldn't quite get it done. She had a bit of a bad trip that day. I don't think her trip was as bad as other people do, but it was certainly not an ideal trip to say the least. She has a really quick turn of foot. I mean, go back and watch that race, and she truly has push button with the way that, within 3 seconds, she went from 9th to 2nd, just into the turn. I think she's extremely talented. You get a big rider upgrade today to Luis Saez. She should, take to the mud just fine. I mean, her only previous off start was way back in her maiden, first time out. So I'm not going to read too much into that. But Secret Oath and Nesh, the two most likely winners for me. I did like 2 prices, but I'm curious if Brian or Josh maybe landed on them before I talk about them.
I did. Oh, yeah. So I think the one looks great. I think Caleb is smarter than Mark. I think Caleb might have picked out the winner there. You
What
know,
about good? Is Caleb better looking than Mark?
that's a trick. That's a trick question. If the two of them were trainers, right? Caleb is probably Bob Baffert, a beautiful, beautiful man with sunglasses on.
Who pays somebody else to do the actual real work? Got it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Mark is probably at Canterbury. I don't even know who that is, but he's at Canterbury. I know, but I thought Secret Oath made a ton of sense, Caleb, for all the reasons you covered. Should sit the perfect trip behind whoever does set the pace. But in case the pace setter does get loose, let me scroll down to my notes. And everybody's favorite Jorge Abreu horse, his first Kentucky Oaks starter, Vente Valentine. This horse is interesting, very interesting. Should be forwardly placed. There's going to be a pace situation, I think, in this race. Looking at it, I couldn't, I figured Yaguri, Echo Zulu are going to go. They're side by side in the gate. And then right outside of them is Venti Valentine here. And I think Yaguri's only hope is to get shoot out and go. And if Echo Zulu is right there, obviously it needs a speed horse. It's going to be very interesting between those two. I think Venti Valentine's able to sit right behind those two, and Tyler should be able to work his way over. And if the pace melts down all the way, obviously, like I said, I'm with Caleb on Secret Oath, but to have first run with Tyler on this filly, she needs to improve a little bit. And in the Gazelle, she probably benefited from the race style and the way the race set up. In the Busher, she was a little wide, and if you watch that replay, she looked like she hadn't developed all the way. So
Wait, hold on. Manny Franco took a horse wide?
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprise.
Jeez.
So it might be early in the season for her. She might be the type of filly that comes back in the summer and really just does really good at the Starbucks Million in Chicago. But I'm not sure what's going to happen, in the summer races. But
Brian, isn't it the Starbucks 600K now?
No, it's actually going to be the Starbucks Million again. They're going to run it at Churchill Downs, which is just a fucking huge slap in the face. I think they're even doing a fucking special meet because I think it's Ellis time, and they're going to fucking run dude, the fucking audacity. Not only are they taking the dates and taking the stakes and running them at Churchill after closing the track, but they're cutting into Ellis's fucking meet to run special days.
But Josh, it does concern me a little how much you love things that hurt you. You are the definition of Stockholm syndrome sometimes.
I mean, that's why.
It concerns me a little.
Cheap speeds never hurt me.
All right. So for the record, I misunderstood Ellis time. Mark,
Jakarta?
Mark, mute. I'm talking about a 21 horse here that has no shot in winning. Let me talk this one to death. Oh, really?
It's better. It's better than Mark talking the 4 to 5 to death. That has no chance in winning. So
he gave me the finger. Okay, fine. Mark, what's the weather look like for Friday? Wah.
Oh, man.
No, but
you got anything else, Brian?
No, I think if this horse gets first run on the 6 and the 7 and can calm down, and obviously needs to improve. I mean, I'll be honest, fellas. You guys all hate Kathleen O. She was slow out of the gate, 2 back. She was slow out of the gate at Gulfstream Park. She's probably the horse to beat here. I mean, if the 6, 7, 8, maybe the 3 get involved in some kind of pace thing here, I mean, she's impressive. I'm what I'm looking at. She's the only one to run a triple digit on the product in front of me. You can cross her out all you want. Josh said she's the easiest toss out of the weekend, which means this is the easiest single for most of you.
I mean, I literally have zero interest in Kathleen O. Oh man, I just absolutely. I mean, it hasn't beaten anybody, and then they're just she should be 7-2. Meanwhile, Echo Zulu literally hasn't lost. Well, I guess Kathleen O also hasn't lost a race, but there's a lot of G's in these past performances. I mean, like I said, I think Echo Zulu is I mean, obviously the speed, the class of the field, You can say
Class
whatever you
doesn't
want.
matter. Class
It doesn't
matter.
But I think that Echo Zulu's. I mean, if I
Agree, Nick.
what did Nick say? Oh, no one in this field has beaten anybody. I don't know. I think it's just insulting that Aguzulu is like third choice in this race, and I will gladly take advantage of it. However, I know shit happens. And the one thing that I will say about Ekuzulu, I saw someone mention this earlier. I have a little concern that Ekuzulu is just Jackie's warrior in disguise, and is going to try and because I don't like if Yugiri like goes as well with Ekuzulu and tries to keep up. I mean, Ekuzulu's just gonna go faster, and maybe burns herself out. Maybe just keeps on going like Jackie's Warrior does in those short races. But I did see Nick Feldman, I think, was talking about Ekuzulu might just be a sprinter. We'll see what happens. Maybe the mile and 16th and not trying to go to mile and 8th. Maybe just not good enough. Maybe it's Serengeti Empress 2.0. Who knows? I do have a.
Wait. Hey, you said Serengeti Empress 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Can I buy a 1% share?
Why would you buy a 1% share?
Didn't Serengeti Empress end up with my racehorse?
No.
Who was the filly that ended up with my
You're
racehorse?
thinking of the horse that was really good and then
Shruska.
No.
Wasn't Monomoy Girl my racehorse?
Monomoy Girl. That's what you're thinking
Monomoy.
of.
Sorry, Monomoy.
Thank you,
You're
Caleb. Sorry.
Monomoy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the
Caleb's right.
one that was really good and kept on beating the Asmussen horse, and the Asmussen horse got better. And I forget what horse that was.
I quite honestly, Josh, I think I like Echo Zulu because I think she might be 2.0, right? Serengeti Empress 2.0. Like I think that's her run style, and Serengeti Empress won the Oaks on an off track, and I think that might be the just send her, get her clear, get her out in front, and then come past me if you can. Come catch me.
My thing is that like they're with these like horses that I mean, you've seen her races. I mean, she'll just fucking get out 2 lengths, 3 lengths
Just
on
go.
these horses. That doesn't care. And I mean, there's a horse might go maybe a horse will go 22 right in a mile and 16th race or something, but is clear by 2 lengths and is doing it easy and naturally, and we'll keep going, right? But what happens if Yugiri duels and they gotta push a little bit harder? Like I don't know. We haven't seen that happen yet. So there is a little concern with that. But to me, she's the most likely winner. I like Nest. I think Nest is the other horse that makes sense, but I will probably just end up using Nest as a B type, as Mark's favorite B type, a defensive B type. I'm not. She's my third choice in the spot. My second choice and the other horse that in like an Oaks Derby double I'm going to use as another A is going to be Secret Oath. I get what they were trying to do running against the boys, but I mean, if you see what she's done against the fillies in Oak Lawn, like this horse is the real deal. So hope she bounces back from the Arkansas Derby. I kind of agree with Caleb. Did have some trouble last out, but you got the little baby Z pattern in there, but I don't know if it was really that big of a problem. And yeah, but like Nick, like he's saying Gamine, like I said, Jackie's Warrior. We had the same thing with Jackie's Warrior, right? Like ended up turning into a sprinter. So that might be the end result with Echo Zulu. I don't know, but 4-1 in this field. I mean, I'll take a shot. I'm gonna key as an A. Secret Oath is I have her written as a B here, but she's more of like an A type for me, I think, because I think I'm gonna need to use both of them here to feel real comfortable. And like I said, Nest I had written down as a B. We didn't really talk about Yugiri, but I mean that fantasy, if I remember correctly, on time form looked really really good. So I see 30-1. I see a horse that's not that much slower. My concern is this horse is not going to get the lead basically under any circumstance. So, and if she does get the lead, it's not going to be easy at all. So, maybe more of an underneath type. Maybe if speed is just golden, like Guzulu and Yugiri just go 1-2. But if you're playing longer horizontals, you want to spice up. someone at 30-1. I think Ugiri's worth a look.
I got a question, Josh. How can you have the 6 and 7 as A and Bs? I mean, run style aside, they're very similar run style, and 6 is inside the 7. Okay, the 7 might be slightly faster, but if the horse gets loose, you want the 7, right? I don't understand how the 6 wins if you have the 7 as an A.
Okay, if the 6 and the 7 duel and the 7 stops and the 6 keeps on going,
If
at 30-1,
if they duel, the 8 wins.
What do you mean if they duel the 8 wins?
If they duel, the 8 wins.
There's no scenario if they duel and hook up. And
exactly. I agree with Mark. There's no scenario that the 8 wins.
There's no scenario. No, there's no scenario that the 6 wins fighting the 7. If they hook up,
there's not.
The 6
Joel falls
finish.
off at the beginning, and all of a sudden 6 is lone speed.
No, I mean, I don't understand your AB.
I mean, Ugiri's 30-1, right? Like, let's not be too hard on him.
You're saying if Ugiri hooks up,
he's just
with
mad
7,
that my horse is a longer morning line than his horse.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't think Ugiri can win this race. I wouldn't have her on a ticket. I think she's a terrible bet. But it's 30-1. I mean, go for it.
But if you're going to take a 4-1 as an A and the same run style at 30-1, from my perspective, the 7 is the class of the field. If you say you like the 7 to be lone speed, if they hook up, in what world does the 6 outlast the 7? I mean, the 6 is proven. In the Honeybee, she couldn't finish. So I guess I don't understand at that point. Okay, if you've got them both, you're betting on the 7 either getting loose or the 2 of them fighting, and then if they fight, you probably don't want either of them, right? I'm playing devil's advocate here, Josh. I'm just saying if they hook up, you don't want either one of them, do you? And if they sit there and they run a
sure,
40,
if they hook up, Churchill down sloppy and 2 horses hook up, one of them's probably still going to win.
That's a bold statement.
I mean, there's an old, saying, right? 2-horse duels don't usually ruin a horse, but 3-horse duels usually do. And I mean, I don't think the 6 has a path to victory, but if you think that something happens to Echo Zulu, she comes out of the gate bad, or they try something new with Ugiri and she rates, or maybe she just blows a new top. I mean, at 30-1, I don't hate Josh's opinion, even though she won't be anywhere in my tickets.
I'm just being an ass for the sake of being an ass at this point.
But I want to bring up Nick's point, because Nick has actually made like 4 good points in chat we haven't had time to address.
He's the smartest one in the stream.
He's the smartest one out of the 4 of us.
Without a doubt.
But I really like his comment about hidden connection. I think it's his last comment he made, which is, if you watch the last race, I mean, how do you use Echo Zulu as an A and not even have hidden connection anywhere? And if you don't like hidden connection, why aren't you tossing both? I think that's a super fair question, because I like hidden connection, which is why I sort of like that point. She's the other price I like in here, the other actually being Venti Valentine, who Brian already talked about. But I thought Hidden Connection ran a good race last time, just missed by a bad bob. And, from a sheets angle, I mean, she paired her 2-year-old top. That generally indicates a forward move is coming. A forward move puts her right in the middle of this. I mean, every bit of a contender with even a small move forward here. And she gets back to Churchill, where she had the best race of her career in the Pocahontas. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Nick. I mean, why not Hidden Connection if you do kind of like Echo Zulu? And even if you don't, I mean, what do you all think of Hidden Connection independent of Echo?
Raylu's riding lights out. That's all I'm going to add.
It is too. That's a good point.
Mark, do you have any thoughts on Hidden Connection?
I had Hidden Connection nowhere. Again, Raylu is riding lights out. I wanted to talk about another price that was not Hidden Connection, but if you guys have more comments on Hidden Connection, throw them out there, and then I'll loop back to mine.
It's worth noting, if you look at the optics plot for this race, the Q1s are 6, 7, 8, and 3. So they're all pretty close together. So I guess, Josh, that's why I was being an ass to say being an ass, because you like the 6 and the 7, but the 8 and the 3 are right there, and also at a huge price. So if the speed carries, you probably want a little bit of all 4 of them at that point, and just because of what they look like. It's one of those things. It's we're arguing over a 20-1 over a 30-1, but it's going to be a crazy race. If one of them gets loose or the 4 of them hook up, this race could just fall apart. It's going to be crazy.
So the one horse that I wanted to mention, and I don't think anybody has mentioned so far, and is one of the works horses, is the 9 Desert Dawn. I was kind of wondering if anybody sort of thought this horse was a little interesting. Obviously, not an A-type horse, not a horse I want a ton of money running through, but it was a horse that seems to be getting that last start was a massive improvement. And honestly, if you're a time form person, there's been a massive improvement sort of from that the late December Los Al race and the Starlet to the San Isabel to the Santa Anita Oaks. Those three have been kind of massive improvement after massive improvement after massive improvement. Is this a horse that's kind of rounding into form at the right time? You're getting Rispoli up. Rispoli got that win last out in the Santa Anita Oaks. Again, she beat nobody in that race. I'm not trying to make some sort of argument that she beat a good class of company, but is there any chance that this horse takes another step forward? She seems to have taken 3 in a row. Why not the 4th? And is just rounding into form later in a 3-year-old, career, which is something that Tappets tend to do, and improves massively here. I don't know if I love her on and off track, but she is a horse that I thought was somewhat interesting, works horse, and kind of a little interesting here.
It's one of those on again, off again horses at first glance for me, right? What happened in the Starlet was like a great effort. Came back at Santa Anita, kind of was like meh, and then comes out the Santa Anita Oaks. Had a perfect trip in the Santa Anita Oaks. Runs a career top. I mean, I will let Desert Dawn beat me because I think she is like I said, the on again, off again horse, and I thought it was just a perfect trip where, I talked earlier about a horse that hasn't faced adversity. Taking a career top into the Kentucky Oaks in a race that you had your own way, I just, go ahead and beat me.
Yeah, it's the kind of horse that, again, I'm known for being a little more spready, and it's the kind of horse that I will have on the ticket that I don't want to let beat me at a massive price. I thought was a little interesting at the right price, and again, it's a C-type horse. It's a horse that I'm going to have on a slight chance of getting to, but it was that type of C that I want to have a little bit of coverage to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't talk anybody off if they really wanted to use that horse, but I won't have her anywhere. I think I'm really skeptical of some of the Santa Anita figs, especially from that day. The Taba and Messier figs on the same day, as well as the Desert Dawn fig, that just seem really, really fast. I'm a little skeptical of those figures, and not just time for them, but across any figure maker. They seem a little fast to me, and I also thought that there was about a 2-week stretch where Santa Anita was playing surprisingly favorable to off the pace runners. And this was kind of during that stretch where I thought, you just were better off being off the pace. Desert Dawn got a good trip that day. She got the job done. But for me, even if you believe the fig, then I think it's much more likely that she bounces off that effort compared to taking a third consecutive large step forward. So for me,
I respect that. Yep. Yep. I respect that, Caleb, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I see Nick Feldman saying typically it seems like West Coast fillies have not been as strong as the West Coast Colts historically, but he would be interested with that horse underneath. Ben Wilkie saying Luis Saez on Secret Oath is if Tag took Manny off Tiz, fade at your own risk. So.
Oh God.
Yeah, it took Contreras off and put up Luis Saez. So.
I really want to offer people, with Manny being in Kentucky, like an over/under 0 wins line, for people on the weekend.
Yeah, he got put on the Chad Rabbit, right? And
yeah, he's on trip. He's on trip fan. Yep. Yep.
Although I think in that race, it's interesting. I think that's more of a Aiden O'Brien Rabbit. Like a horse that's going to get out there and set the pace, but might actually hold on.
Might actually win by accident.
Yeah, might actually win. So,
do you really like Trib in that spot? Like, I think
I haven't looked at the race. I haven't looked at the race at all yet, to be honest with you. But I think Tributan is a good enough horse that if he's being used as a rabbit or if he's the pace pressure in a race, like I think he's still dangerous.
What if I told you there was another horse in that race that you liked even more?
Oh, that's a Busy Channel race, right?
Yeah. I capped that race and I immediately went. I was like, "Oh God, there's Josh's horse right there."
Yeah.
Ravelli, Corrales, and
Oh, Corrales is aboard too, because
Oh yeah,
Corrales won with him at Keeneland, right?
yeah, he did. I think I made a comment in our group chat about this is where Josh loses all his money on Saturday.
Yeah,
All of it.
that Keeneland race saved my entire weekend when I was up there, because I had doubles out of it and I had win money, and yeah, it was.
Think about this: a Ravelli Corrales turf horse at 30-1, Josh.
I mean, you saw
That's a 2.5 cherry special.
Yeah, Ravelli Corrales won that turf sprint on opening night. Corrales came from off the pace and just looped him. I can't believe you guys don't like Aguirre. I'll be honest, I'm still confused about that.
I'm still confused that you do.
No, I'm very confused that you do.
I thought he looked really good on time form. Am I incorrect?
She.
I thought she was like had a really
like
nice time form.
The
fig.
Kentucky Oaks, like it's the definition of a Philly restricted race. But go on.
No, Josh, for me, I thought your agree made a lot of sense, but then
she literally has the highest time form fig in the entire or second highest. Sorry,
but I'm not as much of a speed figure capper as you guys maybe.
She hasn't faced anybody like Echoes.
On any other metric, she's a toss. I mean, whether it's the race flow, the pace setup. I mean, she's a horse that needs the lead and is going to be probably at best second, if not third, depending on what some other horses do. So I never want the worst of the need the leads. That's just kind of my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
But but at 30-1, I mean, that covers a lot of sins. So that's the reason I'm not beating you up too bad on it.
Unlike Brian,
I'll be the bad guy. I mean, good TV is arguments. You know, the Lifetime movies get the ratings they get because the quarterback beats up the girlfriend. I'm sorry, I said it.
Dude, speaking of Lifetime movies, I saw one once. So I saw one once, right? And it was just like super innocent, right? It was super innocent. It was about like a.
There should never be a speaking of Lifetime.
It was super innocent. It was about like a high school girl dating. Exactly, I think she was dating a quarterback or something.
Yes, they always do.
It was like it was super nice and like they started dating, whatever, and then he started getting aggressive and he started like hitting her, right? And I was like, oh, this is fucked up. And then like literally like 10 minutes later, like she's fucking dead. Like she's like floating in the fucking lake. I'm like, dude, like this escalated way too quickly. And then it fucking ends with like Mira Sorvino or whatever giving a fucking like speech because she's like the judge or something. And it was just like really, I was like, oh.
Listen, they've got 90 minutes of TV time and 30 minutes of commercials. It has to happen quick.
Yeah, so Nick Feldman threw up here, what sort of bets or sequences we planning to attack on Friday, cross days, Oaks Derby doubles, those types of things. Like legitimate. He's asking a real question, so I figured I'd throw
time out. Is Finding DB Cooper, is that Matthew? Is that Caleb's draft buddy?
It is.
I see the sweater. I see.
Yeah, and all he cares about is who does Caleb have in the Oaks. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else's opinion. Caleb.
They didn't do a draft for the Oaks. They just did the Derby. So I mean, he wants to know.
Yeah, did not have a draft in the Oaks, but if I had to pick one horse, it'd be Secret Oath. I think that she's she's the horse to beat here. But I'm going to be spread here. I'm going to try to beat Echo Zulu and potentially Kathleen O. I'm going to take Secret Oath with some Nest, Hidden Connection, and Venti Valentine.
So sorry, Nick. I know we cut you off, but you've been the star of the show. So
You're beautiful.
So Mark. So let me break this down for you real quick. I'll answer for Mark. Mark is going to play every single pick five, both days. So that's 9 pick fives, I believe.
Defensively,
all of those.
Yes,
the 2-day pick 6.
9 of them. Yeah.
2-day pick 6. He's going to play all of the special pick 3s, all of the special pick 5s, all of the special doubles. I actually did want to talk real quick. If you guys, I know I haven't capped the Derby card yet completely, but I have capped the Derby, so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the Oaks Derby double. That is a bet I am going to be attacking. So for Mark, I'm going to just say that yes is the answer to that. But I don't know, Caleb. What about you? What are you kind of looking at for the horizontal sequences for Friday?
I don't have a ton of the whole. I don't have the whole card capped. I'll put it that way. I don't have the undercard done through about the first 4. I didn't get done. I'll play the stakes pick 5. I'm gonna skip any kind of Derby City, whatever you want to call it. I hate the La Troen. I don't want to touch that race. So I'll play the stakes races we just covered in the pick 5 for sure, and I'm definitely going to play the Oaks Derby double as well. That's always a fun bet. And my strategy for that Oaks Derby double is going to be to kind of spread in the Oaks and try to get narrow with a single, actually, or we'll call it not a single A and then one B horse perhaps in the Kentucky Derby, waiting up some Oaks Derby doubles.
Brian, what about you? You going to be doing single race bets? You looking at sequences tomorrow?
I'll have no sequences going on. Well, when it's money like this, I'd love to play the 2-day pick 5 or pick 6 or whatever it is. But there's so much question for me from a strategic standpoint where I'll be better off playing verticals, probably exactas, some doubles. And then if I get a feeling for the track, if we know by race 4 what's happening at the track, then the late pick 5 will probably be something I start targeting.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at our private chat, and Brian, like the son of a bitch he is, pulled up a message from Caleb that said, and I quote, "Never let me skip a pick 5 again." So
Brian pulled that up, huh?
Brian,
yeah. Brian pulled
sorry.
that up.
I just assumed it was Brian because that's a Brian move. So yeah. I was really impressed. I was
Knuckles,
really
Mark,
impressed. Oh no. But yeah, like so, and I see.
Hold on, what do you mean a Brian move?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. But I see Matt asking about the Derby double. So why don't we talk about that real quick? I already mine's pretty simple. I might wait it. I'll look at the payouts, but I'm just going to be Secret Oath and Echo Zulu into Epicenter and White Barrio. So it's going to be pretty simple, 2x2, and I'll probably have it for like, I don't know, $10 or something. Mark, what about you? I know you kind of gave one out on the podcast that you did today, but
yeah, I gave the one out in Chase's pod. I'll be obviously 2-day pick 6. I'm running a group ticket, so I'll be very involved sort of in that sort of structure. What I have sort of queued up. I will be a Nest, Echo Zulu, and Shahama. Obviously less than Shahama. Than,
Shahama Ding Dong.
Shahama. Yeah, how do we say that name? I will be less through her than some of the others. And I will try to get into predominantly Epicenter and a little bit of Charge It. So.
God, by the way, I want Caleb to go last because I figured he asked specifically for Caleb's pick, so we want to make sure he stays longer. So we got to keep that.
Also, didn't Mark not that long ago say he thinks he thought Epicenter finishes last?
Yes,
he did. Yeah, he did say he thought Epicenter would finish last.
But he's going to use it defensively.
Oh, there you go. There's the defensive use. Brian, what about you? Are you gonna play that Oaks Derby double?
I'm thinking about it. I like the Dwayne filly. I think she looks really well. And if I have to pick, Mark likes Charge It, so that means it's a toss for me. I'm going to wait until Mark tells me who his C's are for the Derby, and then I'm going to play them as A's for the Derby.
Epicenter.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be honest. I think the overlay of the Derby right now might be Smile Happy. I hate to say it, 20-1 this morning line is ridiculous. If the probables for the 2-day double are worthwhile, I will be live to Smile Happy come Saturday. I don't understand. I mean, I think
you're insane.
I know it's Landry, but if you look at
you're insane.
Okay, well, if you look at Rags, you look at Thoroughgraphs, this horse is coming in peaked and ready to run. You can roll your eyes all you want.
Peak to run fourth? Cool.
You're the one that said 2 days ago Epicenter was the horse that's going to finish last.
I never. I
you
said
did say it. So make me find it. I will find it.
Find it.
I will gladly find it. It'll be my Twitter post in 10 minutes. Listen, it is one of those things where I know I talk shit about Landry all the time, but this horse at 20-1, the morning line was not healthy. It was not a good morning line. I thought Epicenter for the last 2 weeks made a ton of sense here. And honestly, to me, to throw something different out there, I think Taiba is the horse that is the FU to horse racing. This horse started in March.
100% agree.
It was a Bob Baffert trainee by Zen and Stables, who owned Medina Spirit. You want to talk about the ultimate FU to horse racing? Tyba wins the Derby.
That would be the ultimate screw you.
And honestly, Tyba would not surprise me at all. But Nick Feldman with another good question. Not to if you guys want to loop back.
Caleb,
to
you didn't let Caleb give the
hold
picks.
on.
I'm gonna give the people what they want, Mark. Hold on.
Yeah, jeez.
Okay, go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm gonna be spreading the Oaks half of my Oaks Derby double. I'm gonna have Secret Oath and Nest probably weighted the most, and then I'm gonna have Hidden Connection and Venti Valentine weighted a little bit less. I haven't decided what I'll do with Kathleen O. I'm not like adamantly against her, but I don't like her as 7-2. So it kind of depends on what the price shakes out to be there. As far as the Derby half, I'm going to be keyed basically around Epicenter, which I'm surprised that all three of you guys are high on him because it didn't seem like that was the case a week ago. But I see it the same way as Josh. I like Epicenter as my kind of lone A. I'll be pressed to him the most. And then I think White Abario is the most interesting of the double-digit priced horses. So I'll be having some White Abario as well.
White Abario is interesting.
I think Messier is another interesting contender who I do really like, but I don't really want to have a 4x3 double, including, two of the top three choices in the Derby itself. So I'm not going to play it that way. And I'll have coverage to him in other pools in the pick 5 and whatever else on Saturday.
Did you see any buyers saying that the Florida numbers might have been a little soft?
I did. Yeah. And I agree. He said the wood came back a little fast, he thought, and the Florida preps were a little slow, or they were faster than, what the speed figures indicate. And I think that kind of checks out, in my opinion. As far as, Mo Donegal, I really like Mo Donegal, and there's a number of sharp handicappers that have him as the horse to beat in this race. But I kind of always thought he was up against it, given his run style. We just don't see closers win the Derby anymore. And when he, compounded with that, he drew the rail. And maybe it's not as big of a deal for him as it would be for others. I certainly still don't think it's a post anybody really wants. So a different post, a different race. I think Mo Donegal's a nice horse, but he won't be on my tickets just given the fact that he's going to have to pass 18 horses to win this race.
I'll tell you what, man. Yeah. I'm foaming at the mouth at the fact that the favorite in the Derby is going to be a closer. Like, how dumb are people?
I think Edgewood is the favorite, to be honest.
Oh man, I hope Zandon takes all the money.
Dude,
I hope Zandon goes off at 4-5.
Listen, man, for 5 years I've been calling for a closer to win the Derby, and I haven't gotten it yet. So I don't think this is the year.
Don't hold your breath, Bry.
I hope Mo Donegal too takes a ton of money because that's another horse I was not interested in.
I liked Mo Donegal coming into this, and Caleb, you talked about. We're getting into tomorrow's show, but look at the final 3 furlongs for White Abario. That is a giant red flag for me. I love White Abario, but once I saw, he was 5 seconds slower, it's like 20 lengths. That scares the shit out of me.
I've literally never looked at the last 3 furlongs for any horse in any other race, so I'm not going to start looking at it at the Derby.
I mean, Josh, but when you handicap a race, I
look at the first 3
first furlong. That's all you care about. So
E8,
I want that one.
Oh, 21. Okay, bet.
Let's hit on Nick Feldman's question real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Who do we think the actual favorite in the Oaks is going to be? I think it's going to be Nest. I don't really see that happening.
Echo Zulu.
Nest. I think Nest will be your favorite. Yeah.
People love speed.
There's a lot of chatter about I can't Nest is the favorite astonishingly. Even Josh said it on his prelude to the race, but I think thanks. I think she will be the favorite, and I think that she should be. I think that's right. For as good as this line is as bad as the morning line is in the Derby.
The line is terrible.
Okay, and I guess also I'm not saying that the morning line maker is wrong. I think the morning line maker is actually right. That I think Nest is going to be the favorite. I just think it's incredible that Echo Zulu it might go off at 4-1. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So
I'm curious, just for fun, would you take 3 of the top 4 in the Oaks or the field? And you can pick the 3.
3 of the top 4.
If I get Secret Oak in the other and Secret Oath in the other part, I'll take the others. So I would take the field over the top 3 choices.
Okay.
I don't trust who are my 3 of the 4.
You can pick.
I'll take 3 of the 4.
Of course you would. I mean, that's the least surprising thing we've heard all night.
Right?
He's like, I'll
Yeah,
take
it's
Kathleen
interesting. I
O
mean,
3 times.
people kind of have this as a 4-horse race and then other, but I think we all made some compelling arguments for some of the others. So it's a little interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I see Matt's asking more questions about the Derby. I'm like, I gotta look the pace. I think that it's going to be quick, and I think that it's going to be a middle pack, or not a middle pack horse, but it's going to be that EP or maybe P type that's going to win.
I don't necessarily agree. I think that I don't think it's going to be quick as far as the 1.25 mile races are concerned. I think it may be quick as far as derbies in the last 5 years are concerned. There's probably a little more pace signed on this year. I don't think that there's a huge amount of pace is concerned about a 1.25 mile races, as a thing.
I mean, Classic Causeway is going to go. Miguel Barcelona is going to send on that other nonsense horse.
Will he really? You sure about that?
Yeah. What other option does he have?
I don't know. I don't
Because
know
if he doesn't go,
I mean, everybody in the world thinks this horse is going to send. I'd be amazed if he doesn't.
And if he doesn't go, like literally, if he doesn't go, all it does is make it easier for Epicenter. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like that. Like honestly, that's why I like Epicenter so much. Is I feel like what they did, like his win wasn't as impressive last out, because he rated, but I think they knew that, hey, there's probably a good chance that he's not going to get the lead and he's going to have to sit second or third in that second or third flight and has to pass horses. And I mean, I don't know.
I think Mark deleted his comment about Epicenter, by the way. I can't find it.
He might have.
Went all the way back
We'll find it. We'll find it and we'll post it on Twitter. Don't worry.
I went all the way back to May 1st and it's
in there somewhere.
I think he deleted it.
I found it already. Don't worry.
The amount of effort, involved to troll me is.
There we go.
Was it? I didn't know if it was in our group chat or the stream chat, so that might have been what screwed me up.
That's so funny. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. We'll be on tomorrow night, recapping the Oaks card. Hopefully, somebody's gonna need a wheelbarrow to take the money out of their ADW, but we'll see. It's going to be a fun day. These are the and I will probably fight anybody on this. These are the two best wagering days of the year. Yes, Belmont and Breeders' Cup are great, and are better racing. But I feel like these are better betting opportunities than both Belmont and Breeders' Cup offer. I think Belmont and Breeders' Cup are better days, but like quality wise. But I think that as far as betting is concerned, this is as good as it gets. So good luck to everybody. Hopefully somebody. I want to see Jay. I want to see Jared Bush redboarding in here tomorrow. So hopefully somebody somewhere hits something good. Good luck to everybody. We will catch you guys later. I'm sure we'll be trolling on Twitter and shit tomorrow. But we'll be live tomorrow night, 7:30, recapping the Oaks, or 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, recapping the Oaks, and looking forward to Derby Day card. Late pick, or pick 5 ending in the Derby, plus at least Pat Day Mile by special request. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow if I find the right button.
Bye-bye. Oh.